I'd like to welcome everybody to the Town Council meeting Monday, August 19th, 2024, 7 p.m. McKinnon Council Chamber. The agenda. First, Pledge of Allegiance. Agenda item number 2, Madam Secretary, roll call.
Councillor Lazo.
Present.
Councillor Montigny.
Present.
Councillor Chenier.
Present.
Councillor Daniel.
Excused.
Thank you. Councillor Dow.
Present.
Councillor Kelly.
Present.
Councillor Marchetti.
Present.
Councillor Ortiz.
Present.
And Councillor Rivas.
Present.
We have a quorum. Moving on to 3, consider and accept Town Council meeting minutes of August 5th, 2024.
So move.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the minutes of those meetings? Council Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I just would note that my name is spelled wrong on the roll call. It should be Stephen.
I have fixed that this evening. Thank you very much.
I also noticed that Councilor Marchetti is listed twice under the Councilors Forum,
Okay.
and I didn't see any entries for Councilor Lazo, and I thought he did say something, but I may be wrong.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion under the minutes? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to agenda item 4, subcommittees. Department of Public Works, Councilor Chenier.
We had a meeting last week, and we have some items on the agenda for tonight that have been unanimously approved by the subcommittee.
Moving on to Education and Human Services.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had a meeting last Thursday, and there's one item on the agenda tonight.
Moving on to General Government.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, we did have a meeting on August 15th. Agenda items 10, 21, and 22 were discussed, and all were reported favorably to Town Council.
Moving on to D, Planning and Development. Councilor Daniels is not here. Moving on to Protection of Personal Property, Councilor Dow.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, we don't have a meeting last week, but I believe the town manager decided to give one of the agenda to the other committee, and I don't think that's right. Should we have respect to the chair of the PPP as well? Ask me the least, or let me know what's going on. Thank you.
Moving to Chairman's announcements. I'm just going to take a minute to talk about, a lot of people are talking about roads. I ran into a resident that said, when are we going to start working on the roads? And I was taken back by it because approximately 5 years ago, or maybe even 4, don't hold me to it, we did roads like Page Hill from Southbridge Tie all the way to the airport, Twinehurst, South Street, Main Street, Dudley River Road, skim coating Dresser Hill Road, Gulfwood Road, Ellis Road. I mean, there were a lot of roads that have been worked on in the time frame, and since we've been under the new DPW director, Rich Benoit has been doing a fantastic job of laying out the next row of list of streets to be done. There was one resident that walked in from Dennison Drive opposite West Street, which is another one that we did, and gave him, I don't know, 68 pictures of 68 different potholes going up the hill. And that was during the winter, and he said this will be taken care of. So there's a lot more going on. Dresser Street is another rough one. We're just waiting for the gas company to complete their lines so we don't grind, pave, and repair and then have to cut the gas lines in later. A lot of the street work is held up because of the infrastructure work that has to be done underneath. We're also looking at, the North Street, Mechanic Street, East Main Street's another big project coming forward. I think under this town manager, this DPW director and council, with planning and development and Peg Dean, A lot of it's grants, a lot of it's road money, bonded money. It's a balancing act to keep the tax rate somewhat in check, at the same time, get the problem solved that we have in the town. We ran into a problem, water line in front of the town hall. 4 years ago, somebody realized that that was in rough shape. Nothing was done about it. And then it let go, and then it got done. I commend the town manager, our DPW director, the contractors that worked on it. They did a fabulous job. It was a short stint of an inconvenience for a job that was in ledge and was done properly. We still have to do a valve that we're waiting for to come in, but I think that the DPW needs to get a little credit on a lot of this stuff, along with Rich Benoit and the town manager, how the information is fluid. We get it done, and that's the main thing that citizens are seeing. Things are getting done, renovations, various things. Investors are coming to Southbridge. We're going to continue on this roll. I just want to take a short statement on roads, because there's so much being done and there's so much in the chute that I think I'm very happy on where we are and where we're going, and we have a lot more to do. But I just wanted to bring that up on the chairman's announcements, and that's the only thing I have to say. Moving on to agenda item number 6, town manager's announcements. Mr. Town Manager.
Thank you. First off, to the previous speaker, Council Dow, I do respect every chairman, and it was an oversight, and I did apologize that evening. I will make sure that, to the best of our ability, that it doesn't happen again. But I did state that at the meeting publicly to make sure that we refine what goes to what committees. So we'll make sure that we continue to keep that in the forefront. In regards to the Southbridge, we do have a Southbridge Housing Needs Survey. We have that is open till the end of the month, August 31st. That is on the website. Please go online and look at the housing needs surveys that are out there. To the chairman's point, I do want to thank DPW Rich Benoit, the DPW staff, the water department, and all the staff here at the town hall regarding the new line that was installed into the building. As the chairman said, was completed last week with no disruptions to our operations at all. So that is credit to everybody that was involved to make sure that we were able to continue operations and have a seamless transition. And quite frankly, the water department had everything prepped. We shut off the water at 12 o'clock, and at 12:35, the water was restored to the building. So it's a credit to everybody that put that through. There is some water leaking through the previous main that's there that they will be working on. The water department is waiting for a valve that matches the 4-inch, and they will get that repaired. And finally, I just want to thank the town councilors, my staff, for as I complete the first year of my term as town manager. I look back at some of the things that we first came upon when I took this position 1 year ago next Monday, and I was looking through the various openings that we had in our departments, the projects that we had stalled, and everything that was in front of us. And I'd just like to thank everybody for their cooperation with us as we move forward into year 2. Certainly, we have had our bumps along the way, but everybody has been working together. And while everything hasn't been perfect, we are working very hard, and I look forward to working over the next year as we start to develop some further goals and objectives for the town. And that's all I have.
Moving on to presentations. Tonight we had Chief Shane Woodson of Southbridge Police Department on the accreditation. That's going to be canceled till next week. One of the presenters came down with COVID, and we have to wait till he recovers, and we'll do it up probably at the next meeting. Moving on to Citizens Forum. Are there any citizens that would like to address the council on any issues that are not on the agenda? If there's no discussion in the Citizens Forum, moving on to 9, vote to appoint Charles Figueroa of Southbridge as a citizen member to the Education and Human Services Subcommittee, effective immediately until June 30th, 2025, pending completion of state ethics.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Ortiz. Discussion. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Charles Figueroa has been a member of this community for a long time. He also has some experience working in the school district. He's also had experience dealing with family members in the special needs program in the school district, and he's also had a great deal of experience in the banking industry on Wall Street, and I think it is a great person to come forward and offer their expertise and time and dedication to a volunteer position for this town. Thank you.
Any further discussion on this appointment? Was favorable in subcommittee?
It was favorable, yes, sir.
All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to number 10, vote to confirm the town manager's appointment of Javier Rivera of Webster as a constable for the town of Southbridge effective immediately until June 30th, 2027, pending state ethics and bonding.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shenya, seconded by Ortiz. Discussion. Town manager?
Thank you. This was brought forward through general government for the appointment. And as I stated, Mr. Rivera would serve as a town constable. He's worked for the town of Southbridge for many years. Was a Southbridge Police Department auxiliary officer, lieutenant in the auxiliary from January of 2014 to 2019. He was a public safety officer at Harrington Memorial Hospital for a long period of time. He has favorable recommendations by one of our town attorneys, Robert Caprera, as a member of the bar, and he would be our first or current Spanish-speaking constable that is needed for the community. That would bring us to 4. I highly recommend it.
Councilor Kelly, the recommendation for subcommittee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. Yes, the recommendation was unanimous in favor of
Thank you.
Mr.
Any
Rivera.
further discussion on this appointment? If not, Councilor Rivas?
Quick question. What are some of the duties that the Constable Rivera would do as part of that role?
So they serve civil process, so if there has to be post a warrant for elections, people have to have notices served, so they serve a variety of functions.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 11, vote to confirm the town manager's appointment of Ray Arnold to the Trail Committee, effective immediately until June 30th, 2025, state ethics in good standing.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion by Shenya, seconded. Subcommittee?
I believe this was Councilor Daniel's subcommittee, or was reported
That's right.
favorably. Mr. Arnold had previously served on this committee from 2019 to 2023, and we do wish, with our rail trail and everything coming forward, to have those members, so I recommend his appointment.
Thank you, Mr. Town Manager. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 12, vote to approve the extension of the Safe Street for All prioritization plan to June 1st, 2025 to account for the delayed start awaiting the complete streets approval to proceed and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Montigny, second by Ortiz. Subcommittee?
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
This was Councilor Daniel's subcommittee as well, and was reported out favorably for approval.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 13, vote to accept the proposal from Linkwell and Purchasing Group, Sourcewell, for electric vehicle fast chargers at 12 Crane Street, Jacob Edwards Library, Town Hall, Town Common, to authorize further investigation into whether these are viable sites and, if able, proceed as outlined in the proposal and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Montigny, seconded by Shenya. Mr. Town Manager?
This was also reported through Plan and Development, I believe. It was reported favorably in Plan and Development. There was some questions about the prior EV charges that we were pursuing, and previously with the previous town planner. This would just allow an investigation to see if those slots are viable, especially in the library area where we had originally proposed some EV charges, but we had an issue with electricity and how to get the power to those chargers. This would allow us to do, and this proposal would allow us to, the incentive would include infrastructure installment of those. The power before in those sites did not allow for the infrastructure improvements, so therefore we would have been responsible for bringing power to those parking spaces, where this would allow infrastructure at no cost to the town to be in place and make any upgrades. So we do recommend that we do some further investigation. Anything would come back to town council.
Any further discussion? Councilor Down.
Thank you, Chair, through you. Seems like same thing coming back, and we added different location. We never discussed the previous location. Supposed to be some at the Common, some behind the fire department, that parking. Now we're looking at 12 Crane Street. Is that town property or private property, 12 Crane Street?
If I may, Mr. Chairman. We do have a town parking lot in the area that when we develop the rail trail, we do have a small parking lot. It would be part of our parking lot, not in the 12 Crane area, but is part of that. I'll let Peg explain any further details. As far as the town common, I don't think we ever explored any charges in the town common unless it was for those 5 previously. But again, we would have had to do infrastructure upgrades at that point. That's why that was not pursued. When the former town planner, I was on council when we did that, that really did not go anywhere. This is a more robust proposal to install those.
May I, Chair, through you?
Go ahead.
Thank you. It was approved, and then we discussed the town vehicle as well, moved those stations to the back. And I believe it was the library, someone there doesn't want them because he doesn't have enough parking. That's, if my memory doesn't cheat me, but now we have a new location. It's 12 Crane Street. Is that town or state law? Because I think that's the state law, not town law.
I'll let Peg answer that because we do have the rail trail. But as far as the charges that we were looking at doing here, those were going to be slow charges. This would allow us to put the fast charges up, which would not keep vehicles here as long. So yes, we're evolving in these charges. It's a fast-paced environment when it comes to EV charges. New incentives are coming forward. Our goal is to get it done. This one came up afterwards, but I'll let Peg explain anything further.
Community Development Director, Peg Dean.
Good evening, Town Council. If I may, through you, Chair, just to speak to 12 Crane Street, with the rail trail bid, we had within it the base bid, and the base bid included the parking lot at 12 Crane Street, which is ours. And had we not come in under budget with the base bid, we would have eliminated the parking lot from the rail trail construction. We would have eliminated lengths of the rail trail as it comes toward the rotary. So thankfully, we got all of those pieces included in the base bid. And so a strategy as part of building the new parking lot would be to investigate whether you could put fast chargers in your parking lot. And the Town Council is welcome to add locations as part of a friendly amendment if they want to, as part of this investigation. Again, if based on those proposals you've received, if we're able to go forward and nothing changes, we would be able to do that work. But if for any reason the town would be charged anything, if it would cost the town, then that stops the proposal, and we would have to come back to the town to revisit whether or not it's worth the town going forward. With regards to the library, it was initially asked that the chargers be on Main Street to be very visible for people driving through town, right? The last time we had a traffic study done, there were 13,000 vehicles that travel on Main Street every day. And so it's nice to be able to have something very visible like that. But because when we did Main Street, we had to remove one of the parking spots, that eliminated the option to be able to put it on Main Street. And then the conversation was about moving it to the back. And with regards to the Edwards block, there was trouble finding power to that. But again, if the town wanted to investigate that, by all means, you could add it as a friendly amendment.
Chair, through you. What happened to the station supposed to be behind the fire department parking lot?
If I may, through you, Chair, I think that was one of the ones that Heather and Eric investigated, and there was a problem finding power to that. But if you would like this company to investigate that, by all means, if you wanted to add it to the list, we could.
Thank you.
Peg, correct me if I'm wrong, the one at the library was supposed to go in the front of the library. And then when the road project came through, it took the parking area opposite, actually in front of the, and then the talk was go to the back of the.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Councilor Rivas.
Just because there's another item considering the community center? Was that another spot that was discussed or could be added?
By all means, if the town wanted to consider it, that's an option.
Council Senior.
Thank you. Through you to Ms. Dean. The charging units that were authorized for the library and for the other locations into town that weren't done, what happened to that grant? Is it gone?
If I may, through you, Chair, the motion made back in 2021, when Eric Runcie was the town planner, was going to take advantage of what was then the incentives. Those incentives have here and gone, and so there are new, more aggressive incentives out there. Because we are an environmental justice community and we have a lot of low-income residents, we are a target for some of these providers to sell us these options. And so I've had multiple companies come forward saying, we can help you do this. This company seemed to have their ducks in a row, where in the past, they didn't ask for an initial contract up front like this. This company's asking for the commitment, the proposal, because they want to secure the option of going forward with us without us being able to shop elsewhere. They seem to have it together. They've worked with other Massachusetts towns. They're working in North Adams right now. And so I'm confident that they'll be able to do the front work to be able to find out whether or not we can go forward before these incentives are here and gone.
I may continue. Prior, I was at the meeting and we had a good discussion about this. But tonight, prior to coming to the meeting, I was contacted by a resident, and their questions and concerns were, as I have a concern, is I want to be able to put these in so they entice people to go to local businesses. And they were concerned that we're putting it down at the registry, and the registry is going away. What's wrong with Central Street? Can we look into Central Street to get...
We can, if I may, through you, Chair. It was initially not on the table because we had just paved and we had a 5-year moratorium on our own pavement, and so you wouldn't want to crack your own new pavement. But now time has passed. If you would like to consider that also, by all means. I do remember power being an issue there, but yes, we could look at that also.
Well, they broke up the sidewalks, so I
They
think we could go
certainly
with the
have.
same sidewalks before it's fixed. Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Just as a follow-up to the previous speaker, with the R&V, even if the R&V goes, our goal would be to do an RFP so that we could have that redeveloped into either restaurant space, sell it, or whatever. So some viable business would go there, so they wouldn't be wasted at that location.
Right. Councilor Cuevas, then Kelly.
I'd like to offer an amendment to add the community center to this motion.
Second that.
Is a motion a second? Could you state that amendment again?
So I'd like to offer an amendment to add the community center as another location for further investigation to this item.
There's a motion and a second on the amendment. Discussion.
Just maybe through you to the town manager, we would tie that into this particular line, this particular agenda item, so if the community center doesn't have the power, we're not going to do it.
Right, it would be a study to see what locations are viable.
All right, thank you.
So the amendment would be to add the youth center to the list.
Community center.
What's that?
Community center.
I mean the community center, I'm sorry. Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I just want to try to understand the costs. I mean, if I may, on the amendment itself, I would support having it looked at. I would comment. I think these type of chargers, these are fast chargers. These chargers will charge a vehicle almost to about 80% of capacity in about 2 to 3 hours. All right, where if I even think less than that, I think it's even under an hour to 80%. So these are really designed to help the business district, and the business district where people will be coming in while to eat or to do whatever down in the business district, and while they're doing their shopping, or while they're eating, their car is getting charged, and when they go out to the car, and they're ready to go. I'm concerned about putting it I certainly would support looking at it, but I'd be concerned about putting it at a place like the community center, that it wouldn't get any use up there, and it would be a wasted investment. Thank you.
Councilor Dow.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, a few questions here. I think they have, the places you don't have enough power, they have kind of a canopy, solars. I don't know if you see that before. You can, canopy will charge by the sun, and then they charge the cars. You don't need to run power to it. That's one. I don't know if you want to look to it. Maybe the same cost, more easy to install them, better than get electric, and try to figure out how you're going to run electric to the places. My other question is, who's going to be charged for maintenance or collect, if there's any charge money, who's going to be responsible for the maintenance in the future? What's the warranties? And I don't know if you have any study of that.
If I may through you, that was reviewed at the subcommittee. There is a warranty through the company for X years, and the actual administration is pretty simple once you set it up. We've already gone through it for the RMV. And the manpower from the town is nominal. The maintenance is relatively low. For instance, on the ones that are outside here at Town Hall, I've been the only person to maintain them over the 5 years that I've been here, and the only issue we've had was a clip fell off of the actual handle. I ordered a new one through the company, and Joel and I installed it very simply. As the person from LinkSource outlined, they've had very few issues. They're sort of, they're ahead in the market on, they're using ones that don't seem to be of issue. And what they are seeing at, like someone brought up the example of how on the Pike, all of the chargers they were out of commission for the last 2.5 years, 3 years. And I guess where most of the fault lies is the technology. And so if you have strong technology that can be fixing the glitches behind the scene of the internet, the internet connection, those are more of the technical issues that happen with these. It's not the actual physical maintenance that's usually an issue. I hope that's helpful.
So those stations is going to be charged to the customers, correct? When you want to charge a vehicle, you put a card, credit cards, or for free?
Correct. If I may, through you, Chair, we set up a payment system, and then the payment system will charge. We need to come up with the number that charges enough to the customer to then pay ourselves back for the power, and the 9% overall that will then get paid to that company for maintaining the systems. The current one we have right now, for instance, at the RMV, we pay a 10% to the company. It's so say if we made $100, we had $90 in power, and we paid them the other company $10. That's basically how the math works.
So, Chair, through you. So the maintenance, it's that included Wi-Fi and anything broken, they will maintain it through the percentage, 10%?
That's exactly right. And then the incentives through the state require that we have to have a subscription with a company for 5 years, so that we're forced to sort of be in good standing with a company to make sure that these things are taken care of, and we're not just taking advantage of state funds and then leaving these things neglected.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilor Rivas?
Just a quick comment to the previous speaker, and certainly this is, an investigation, so it's kind of studying the issue. But as far as adding the community center, I do think maybe currently it's sort of addressing, increasing the business district, but in relation to what Peg is saying about environmental justice, and thinking about the WRTA, thinking about, vehicles, school buses in the future that might be electric vehicles, and having that community center be a spot that might be able to have a charging station and thinking about all of the increased activity that we hope to see at the community center, I think it makes sense to add it to the study and also to open up and think about and expand our thinking beyond just business. Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, on the amendment, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous, all present. Main motion as amended. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous, all present.
Thank you.
Peg.
Thank you.
Moving on to 14, vote to approve the economic development transfer of $18,000 from account 001175-511000 salaries and wages to account number 001175-530000 specialized services to fund the contract with the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission for professional support to the town planner, approved June 17th, agenda item 31, and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion.
Mr. Chair, I think this was planning development, and that was voted
It
in.
was favorable, I was there.
Was it planning development?
It was
Jerry?
favorable, I was there. The planning and development.
It was favorable, yes.
Yeah. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to agenda item number 15, vote to allow BSC Group to complete our open space and recreation plan update and the senior center facility study for $144,850 using FY 2022 and FY 2023 CBDG funds, and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Montague. I would like to ask a gentleman to come up.
Not on this one, that's the next one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got him on the end, wrong one. Any discussion at this time on this agenda item? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Number 16, vote to enter into a community host agreement for a licensed co-located adult use marijuana delivery operator establishment with Morabiza LLC, and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Ortiz. At this time, I'd like Carlos Rosa to come up. This is the gentleman that will be operating that business. Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate all of you being here tonight and listening to my proposal for a marijuana establishment at 393 East Main Street. As you said, it's a delivery operator, meaning that no customers will be going to this location. It's basically a warehouse where customers would place their order online, and they would then have their cannabis products delivered to their homes. We also plan to have a manufacturing component of the business, and it's a very light operations, and it will be mainly for making pre-rolls. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have and clarify anything.
Are there any questions at this time? Council Rivas?
This might be more of a town manager question, but does that sort of complete the licensures that were allocated for our community?
Go ahead, Mr. Town Manager.
So we have currently 4 retail licenses. This is a different type of license. So our zoning allows 4 licenses. This is a totally different license. It's not a retail establishment.
So it would be an addition.
Correct.
To before. And then my other question to either of you.
Sure.
How do the new Cannabis Commission regulations on community host agreements, how did that affect this agreement or?
Sure. So what we did is we waited until the Cannabis Control Commission finalized the community host agreement, and that's what we based it off of, is the last template that they provided to us.
Thank you.
Sure.
If I could just follow up to that question. So Carlos and his group has been working very closely with Ken Comia regarding drafting this agreement. So this went back and forth for a number of months, at least 9 months since I've gotten here, 10 months. And it was vetted very carefully by both sides and our legal counsel. So it had gone through the process to incorporate all the community impact fees and the like. As a matter of fact, we had used this and sent this off to our current retail establishments because those are going to come up for renewal. And one of the attorneys contacted me the other day to discuss the new retail and thought that it was a well-drafted and well thought out host agreement that he's seen others that have been, as he termed it, train wrecks, and that this one was pretty comprehensive. And the number that he has done to get through the new cannabis, thought this was right on track.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you both.
Councilor Kelly?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chairman. Would you mind explaining a little bit about how you intend to secure the products in your building, and also with regard to your drivers, the vetting process for them, as well as the security with regard to their safety when they're delivering?
Sure. So I'll start off. In terms of security, we've actually given the chief of police our security plan, and he actually approved it a few months ago, just to throw that out there. But we will also have cameras inside the facility. We would also have sensors that would be able to pick up any activities if we're not in there. In terms of our drivers, we would also have cameras on their body at all times when they're doing deliveries, and those cameras would be recording at the time of delivery. And those are some of the main components in terms of security for the facility and for the drivers.
If I may, through you, Mr. Chairman, another question.
Sure.
So are there specific regulations surrounding how you can deliver to an individual, and
Of course.
you have to ensure that the person is
Sure.
of age and the...
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
I can touch on that. So before we can actually make a delivery, a person would sign up on our website. They go through a verification process of their IDs. Once that ID has been verified and we can confirm that that individual is of 21 years of age or higher, then we would be able to process the order and deliver cannabis to their house or residence.
And one more.
Continue.
Through you, Mr. Chair. And you'll be delivering to just not Southbridge, it'll be surrounding area?
That's correct.
And are there
So-
towns that prohibit it?
Sure. So we would be able to deliver in Southbridge and any other towns or cities within the state, as long as the town or city allows for the delivery of cannabis.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilor Dow?
Thank you, Chair, to you, to the town manager. It's any bylaw set for that type of license?
No, we don't have that in the bylaws. It's regulated by the Cannabis Commission. The bylaws the zoning bylaws are effective because they do have to go to the zoning board
Yep.
for the site plan review and all that. So it does have to go to site plan for all that, for them to follow all those bylaws and any other general bylaws, and that's articulated in the agreement.
Another question, like the liquors we have a special board for the liquors. Is any board we looking to generate for the selling or deliveries in the future? You have anything in mind? Who's gonna inspect their work? Who's gonna make sure they're doing the properly? Person working there is gonna be background check. Who's gonna deliveries? Who's gonna inspect all that? Is town manager's office, any board involved, police station, who's gonna be involved?
That would all be the Cannabis Commission, the state regulatory board.
So the town have no,
Outside of making sure they follow this agreement, when it comes to the security of the building, the zoning, any mitigation to odor or anything like that, that's what we would have oversight on. They would have to provide reports to the town. There is stipulation in here that have to send us regular reports
Correct.
as far as any violations, but outside of regulatory, it's not, there is no local licensing commission for cannabis. It's all on the state.
So example, I'm not saying specific, the gentleman, in the future, if anybody just go ahead and break the law, who's gonna audit them or check their work if they're doing properly? If the town or the police or whatever wouldn't have no authority over those people, they can just run around our town and just deliver stuff. Nobody's supervise them or vision if they're doing the right work.
Well,
May I make a comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it, so in terms of that, what I can tell you is we've given the police chief our security plan, and we can also give him access to the cameras. So they are welcome to check it. If the police chief wants to come by, he can come by, and we're welcome to that. Any unannounced visits, we're welcome to that as well, to make sure that we're aligned. So that, I don't think that would be an issue, because he will be welcome there anytime that you want, so, and have access to cameras. If there are any incidents on the facility, obviously we would want them to respond as quickly as possible, so they would have access to that as well.
Thank
We
you.
can create a drive, a Google Drive, and have documents in there that we would share with the police department.
No, thank you. That, obviously, that's nice of you voluntarily doing it, but it's nothing on the papers. You can say in the future, no, I'm not saying you're gonna, but
No, I understand.
I mean, the person is gonna be working and that type of facility is supposed to have a background check too, no?
And that's done through the CCC as well. So any person that we hire, they go through a vetting process through the Cannabis Control Commission. And if they determine that those individuals cannot work for us, then we wouldn't be able to hire them as well.
I think the thing that we have to keep in mind is this whole cannabis thing is new, and it's controlled by the state. And the only regulations that we have are basically on the plant, and the agreement, the host agreement, is what we have to hold them accountable to what's in the host agreement. But as far as regulating, pulling the light, I mean, the State Cannabis Commission is the one that handles that.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question for verification. In relation to the EW building, where is your warehouse located? You said 393?
Yeah, East Main Street, so it's across from Dunkin' Donuts.
It's across from Dunkin'? Okay, in the back.
Between that.
Yeah, and I did some work for a local cannabis company, and the Cannabis Control Commission for the state is extremely grueling. They scrape people's Facebooks all day long. They make sure that people are, it's extremely guarded. And the only reason we even have liquor boards in the state of Massachusetts for each town is because the state forces us to. So the state is in complete control of this because it's not even federally legal yet.
Correct.
So the town, they don't even want the towns involved. We ran through a lot of hoops with my business, doing business with a marijuana company one time for some social media, and I feel comfortable that you're completely regulated and completely, our people are safe. You can't violate the law. The CCC could do more than our liquor board could ever do for things. So thank you very much for bringing this forward tonight.
Thank you.
Councilor Rivas.
Just for, I know that we learned a lot about the Cannabis Control Commission from the MMA conference, but maybe a suggestion to the town manager, seeing that maybe someone from the commission could come to or provide a presentation where our counselors could be more educated on what the protocols are, what are the safeguards.
I could certainly try, but the CCC isn't very receptive to even getting us the host agreements. But we can actually try to find out. But I mean, this is a comprehensive agreement, very well regulated. So I feel confident that we took everything.
I think that what we have to keep in mind that with the feedback that we're getting is the cannabis industry is new, and the state level is in a little bit of disarray with some of the things going on at the state level. Not that I think Councilor Dow is totally wrong in the future. If the state decides to hand down some sort of power to the community, well, then it would change how we handle this business. But right now, we have the host agreement, which is our tool.
Correct.
And then it's state regulated by the commission. It's a very, very simple thing. I don't need anybody to come in here and tell me about it, because if you've been involved in this constant installation of different suppliers and what they're called, and you're a delivery service, you're not retail. I mean, it is exactly what it is, what you're telling us.
And something else that, if I may, that I'll mention is we are also held accountable every year, right? So every year I have to go back to the CCC in order for them to renew the license, right? So as part of our plan, we have a positive impact plan, which I think is important for the community. I'm the first person in my family to go to college, so like I put a program in place that would allow people within this community to apply for college scholarships, as an example, backup care for children. So like for 20 days out of the year, if somebody can't make it to work for whatever reason, they can get backup care so that they can make it to work. Scholarships, home buying programs, as are some of the few things that will be as part of the plan that I will be held accountable for every year. If I don't meet them, then they wouldn't renew my license. So I just want to throw that out there because I think it's important to realize, the impact that we would have in the community as well.
Councilor Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I have just one more question and a
Sure.
comment. First question, you will not be allowed to deliver out of state, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I think this is actually very regulated by the state. In fact, I'm not sure how much power the town even has with regard to this, other than either saying, no, we can't have it here, or yes, we can have it here. I think otherwise the state is pretty much in control of the regulations. I'm frankly happy to leave it to the state at this point because it is a new industry, and I'm a little concerned about the liabilities that may come from the federal government at some point down the road if they decide to reverse course and not be so tolerant of state marijuana laws. So until the federal government decides to legalize it, I'm happy with leaving it to the state. That said, I do have reservations generally about marijuana establishments. However, I think I've been educated over the last several years, and I am really trying to look at these as more equivalent to alcohol retail establishments. So you came to subcommittee. I asked a lot of questions at subcommittee, and I'm satisfied that you have a good business plan, and I wish you luck. I will support you.
Thank you.
I'll support you.
I appreciate it.
Any further discussion? Councilor Dow?
Thank you, Chair. To you. Thank you for coming to town. I'm not against it. I just like to know some more information. That's why I asked this question. Doesn't mean I'm against the idea, because if you don't come here, you can do a different town and deliver it to town.
Sure.
So thank you for coming and open your business in town. One more question. Is only prescription, or is anybody can order it?
Sorry?
It's only medicine, or anybody can
No,
order
it's
it?
for recreational only.
Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Sure.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Good luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Moving on to 17, vote to approve entering into a contract with Cartographic Associates for the mapping maintenance of the town's tax maps, and authorize town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Chinya, seconded by Ortiz. Discussion?
I believe this came to maybe general government. Planning and development, and it was
I was
unanimous.
planning and development. Unanimous. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 18, vote to award the East Main Street Road Improvement to A.F. Amarello for $2,617,098 to be funded from the Mass Works Grant, town funds, and previously authorized borrowing for the road improvements, and authorize the town manager to sign all related paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Chinya, seconded by Ortiz.
Mr. Chair, this was brought before the DPW subcommittee and was unanimously approved.
Was unanimously approved by DPW. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 19. Vote to amend the previous adopted action on September 25th, 2023, agenda item 45, and approve the change order regarding the amount authorized from $135,000 to $135,500 due to the clerical error at the time of the posting.
Second.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Ortiz. Mr. Town Manager?
Thank you. This is a procedural, the memo that went back on September 13th, 2023, clearly was discuss, review whether to recommend Town Council approve a change order for 135.5 to McClure's design contract for East Main Street for K Street to the Rotary. So we're just looking to amend the previous, to increase it to $500 so that we can make sure we pay McClure Engineering. It was just when we did the, back a year ago, it was noted that and nobody caught it, we didn't catch it, but I do have the original memo from 2023 that was clearly supposed to be 135.5.
Any further discussion? Not all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 20, vote to authorize payment of 2 prior year bills, overhead door, in the amount of $3,029.30 from FY25 account number 0014-99-52 4300-0499, repair and maintenance of building and grounds.
So moved.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Ortiz.
Mr. Chair, this was brought before the DPW.
Could you speak into a microphone, Councilor Shinya?
This was brought before the DPW subcommittee and it was unanimously approved.
Thank you very much. Any discussion? Mr. Town Manager?
Just for the rest of the council that may not have been there, our operations manager, Pete Provencher, had contacted Overhead Doors in August 12, 24 to have some doors repaired. When he contacted them, they stated that the town owed them about $3,000 for work done in January and March of 2024. Pete did some research and he found out that Overhead Doors had been sending the invoices to former employees, Mark General and Phil Harding, and to their email address, and we had never received them. Those employees haven't been there, they hadn't been here for a number of time. I'm not sure why they had sent them to those addresses, but Overhead Door acknowledged that they had miscommunicated the bill, so it was just issue with both. We wanted to resolve it, so that's the resolution, and that was the memo from Hannah and DPW.
Any further discussion? Town
Chair,
Manager?
through you, thank you. When you say building and ground, what building, what ground, what the repair they did?
Well, it's coming out of their department, their building and grounds, so we have multiple building and grounds, so that one would be, I would double check, but I believe it is the DPW repair of maintenance and grounds. The DPW
Building?
account, building and grounds. Each building in the town that we have that is serviced by DPW has a specific repair and maintenance of building and grounds. So this would be that specific department's building and grounds.
And just question, through you, Chair, Town Manager, just to understand, that type of work in 3,000 should be coming for approval in the past before they did the work? I don't see
Come to
it.
town council? No,
Yeah.
we're not come to town
We
council.
don't have to. We only approve the payment.
This is because we have a past due, prior year invoice that needs to be paid. Anytime you have a prior year, we can't just automatically pay it. It requires 2/3 vote
Yeah.
after the close of the fiscal year.
So just trying to understand, hopefully, so either in the previous year, when they did the work, they don't have to come to us to authorize that type
No.
of work?
It came out of the budget. It was authorized through the budget.
Okay.
So after the budget, they did it, and they kept sending the bill to the wrong place.
It's just in normal operations, we don't come to the town council for every bill every job
It's in
that
the
we do.
budget.
So it comes through the town manager, it's through the normal procurement process.
Thank you.
And because it's a prior year bill, it's a 2/3 vote tonight. Any further discussion? Yep. Dean?
Yes, if I could just maybe help clarify. For Chapter 30B procurement, anything under $10,000 does not require a contract, and therefore they would not need to go to town council for approval. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you. You should run for town assistant.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 21, vote to authorize $349.26 in FY25 funds from the account 001543-571100 conferences and meetings to reimburse the Veterans Agent for a conference in 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Again, another prior year bill, take two-thirds vote. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor? Oh, did you have your hand up?
I did.
Go ahead, Councilor Kelly.
I just wanted to say that this did come up through general government and was recommended unanimously. So,
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Moving on to 22, review amending the Southbridge zoning bylaws, section 8.7 adult use marijuana establishments to authorize for hours of operation except between the hours of 10 p.m. to 8 a.m.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to amend, and I would suggest the hours from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m., change that 10 p.m. to 11 p.m.
At this time, we're going to be going, we need a reference to go back. We found out we need a public hearing. And so there's no use amending it here tonight. We're going to have a public hearing, and then we have to have our first reading. I think we were planned on doing it at the next meeting, Mr. Town Manager?
yes.
Councilor Kelly?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So under Chapter 40B, Section 5, I believe, this would require us to have a hearing at the town council level, public hearing on this. So it has come up from, it came up from the planning board. They had a public hearing according to the statute, came up through general government, at general government was unanimously recommended to come up to town council. Now the town council would have to schedule a public hearing on this, so any member of the public could comment, and there is a notice requirement that we must fulfill first. I've talked to the town manager about this, and he will ensure that the notices go out, and we will schedule it at the earliest possible time. I believe it has to be within 65 days, but
I think what we'll do is we'll entertain a motion to postpone for the public hearing at the next meeting. Will somebody make that motion?
So moved.
Motion to postpone till the next meeting for public hearing and the first reading. Seconded by Dow. Discussion on motion postpone.
I'm not sure where we're at, but shouldn't, if we're going to hold a public hearing, the public hearing should be done on what is taking place. So what I'm looking to do is change it to 10, from 10 to 11, so the public hearing, shouldn't it be based on the 11 o'clock time and
It's
not
the
the 10?
state law.
No, I understand the public hearing.
No, it's the state law. We can't do this. We researched it through the Attorney Kelly and the town manager, and I'll give you a copy of the law after the meeting. We cannot vote on this or amend this tonight. We need to send it back for the public hearing and the first reading at the next meeting. It's the law. That's the thing that we researched. Councilor Dow?
Thank you, Chair, to you. Just the way I could be wrong, the way I read it, saying 10 p.m. till 8 p.m. should be 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. I mean, if the way you say it, they can open overnight?
We got to talk about motion to postpone. Do you want to postpone this or not?
Yes, I did second already.
Any further discussion on postponement? Councilor?
thank you, Mr. Chair. If we were to try to amend it today, we'd have to send it back to planning board for another hearing. That's the way I read the law.
Right.
Okay.
Town manager?
So, the way after the meeting, I was tasked to research this. We have two sections in our bylaws of how to do bylaws, and it was simply that the town council and the planning board have to, whatever is sent up to the planning board, you have to have a public hearing based on what was sent up to the planning board. So it was sent up to the planning board with 10 PM. We can have a public hearing, we can have discussion on that. Any amendment then could go through town council when it goes to
First reading.
reading.
Any further discussion on postponement? If not, all of the roll call?
Counselor Chenier?
Abstain.
Counselor Dow?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Lazo?
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti?
Yes.
Counselor Montigny?
Yes.
Counselor Ortiz?
Yes.
And Counselor Rivas?
Yes.
8-1, 8-1, postponed to next meeting. 7-1, I'm sorry.
7.
Moving on to Council's Forum.
Already?
Wait a minute. Yep. 23. Council Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only thing is, I did want to talk to the previous motion, and I didn't want to talk about it because it was being postponed, but I do think that if we're going to change the time, then there should be something that we get out of this, because this does benefit the retailers, changing the time for their hours of operation. I mean, I did take a look at Charlton, and I watched the planning and development. They said Charlton had a better 10 p.m. or something. I don't see that on their website. Maybe they haven't updated their website. I don't really know. But I did notice that Charlton has a better host agreement. I mean, they have a minimum amount, which I thought was a pretty good idea. It's either 3% or 300,000, whichever is higher, and I thought that was a pretty good deal. Maybe you cannot renegotiate the host agreement, but why not? They're the ones, it seems to me, this didn't come out of the blue. Somebody wants a 10 p.m. change in the time. So all I'm asking is that we take a look and see what the town can get out of changing the hours. That's all. I mean, this does benefit the retailers, the marijuana retailers. But that's for the hearing, and I'll wait for the public
It was
hearing.
requested by one of our cannabis stores
Okay.
to be competitive, and Charlton was 10 and Sturbridge was 11, I think. And when they requested it humbly. Maybe they were worried about asking for too much. In talking to the retailers, they would rather have 11 to be competitive with Sturbridge. So going forward, I think there's going to be much discussion on this before it's finalized.
Well, I mean, I did see that Sturbridge has 11 p.m., but I also noticed that they don't have very many marijuana retail stores. I think they only have one, so I don't think 11 p.m. really did them much good. All I'm saying is that if we're going to change it for them, then we should at least look at getting something out of this. That's all I'm asking for. But other than that, I got nothing else tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just
Mr. Manager?
through you. In regards to the host agreement, that's what, I think if you're looking at the Charlton host agreement, that may be an old agreement. We'd have to look at the date. That's why all our host agreements have to be changed, because you cannot put those outside of the 3% excise tax. You cannot put additional parameters on it. That's why we are in the process of reviewing all
Maybe
those
they
host
didn't
agreements.
update the website.
Yeah.
Could be.
Could be an old agreement, but
Yeah.
that's the problem.
What's that?
I'm good, thanks. Yep.
Councilor Dow?
Thank you, Chair, to you. I just want to say thank you for Peter Venture. I call him for one crosswalk light. Same days he went and fixed it. It was no problem. These guys, they're on alert. You know, they're working hard. You see him out on the street, cleaning the sidewalks, cleaning the road, doing the patch. Unbelievable how things change over like the past, how there was it, and right now. God bless these guys. Thank you.
Councilor Junior?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I just, prior to this vote, I would appreciate a phone call to explain.
That was my fault. My
Okay.
fault.
Well, I'll accept it.
Take ownership.
The Friday night, I just want to tell the town that we had the Polar Park was to represent Southbridge night. And I just want to tell you that it was a pleasure going there, representing this community as a counselor, and also representing the senior center. I have to say thank you very much to the Lions Club. They made it possible for the seniors to go. and it was a great event, and it was well attended by this community. Also, I just wanted to also say my hats off to the Italian Club for Saturday's picnic. I was able to attend that. The food was great, the attendance was great, the music was all good, and my hats off to them for a excellent picnic that they opened up to the community. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. And I just want to
Town
add,
manager?
I never realized Councilor Kelly could sing so well. He did a beautiful song that Sal Ladon was able to dance to. It was quite impressive to hear him sing in Italian, no less. So it was very, I don't know if you saw that, but he did a great job. Council.
Councilor Ortiz.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Councilor Rivas.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I have a few comments, and I want to just thank the town manager and the recreation director on collaborating with Wellstorm on an incredible back-to-school event on the Common. There were so many families that benefited from that event in particular, and it really showed the collaboration between our social services and our town officials and our town employees. So that was a great, show of support to our families, and really contributing to, I know the schools have their own back-to-school events where they provide backpacks and haircuts, but this was great to see the additional resources, as well as we were at the Renaissance Medical Group back-to-school event, or Fiesta, a smaller event, but still an incredible amount of resources to our community. I registered some people for the upcoming election, and really, we're just really fortunate to have all of these agencies that work together to provide our residents who are in the most need in our community, and so it's great to see that collaboration. But I do appreciate the town manager's efforts in making sure that happened on that weekend. I also want to comment a little bit on, I watched a couple of the subcommittee meetings, and it was great to hear the presentation from Chip Norton on the Innovation Center, and sort of that coming back up on the docket, and the discussion around the benefits to the community, or how the community can collaborate with this, private entity that, obviously is like the biggest taxpayer in our community. I love some of the ideas around, providing more entertainment for our community. I thought, I like the water park idea from Councilor Montigny.
Thank you.
I also thought that maybe thinking about how many of our youth play sports, and maybe thinking about a sports complex in the vein of, similar to what Auburn has. That is a huge location there, and that might be something. I also wanted to talk about the conversations that that subcommittee had on the Central Street Business District, and making that a restaurant row. I thought that some of those comments and those ideas are incredible. We really do, we have a blossoming business district there, and thinking about the Central Street Plaza and how we've upgraded that area, and certainly with the concerts that we had a few years ago, and trying to bring that all together. I agree with Councilor Marchetti on making it a pedestrian walk, and thinking about the street fairs that we had, I guess like over 5 years ago, when we closed off the street on Main Street, and all of the businesses had booths out there. I think that would be something to look at for that area. And I do think some of these things are great ideas that I absolutely would support, and would would benefit our community in so many different ways. And it's great to see a lot of collaboration and coming together and seeing that vision coming forward of how Southbridge is going to prosper in the years ahead. So I love that idea. I wanted to mention a couple of upcoming events. The UINC Seven Hills Southbridge Community Connections is going to have a resource fair, a yearly resource fair at Henry Street Park on September 13th from 4 to 6. Again, those are much needed resources in that area of our community. And I'm looking forward to that event, as well as Autumn Fest coming September 21st. I know that the business partnership is working very hard. And so if you have a business or you have an agency or you're a crafter, they're putting together those plans right now. So please contact them and let them know. That is, the biggest event in our community. So, they're always looking for new vendors to come in and sell your wares and join us on that day. I also had one last question for in regards to our town manager mentioning your first year kind of completed, which is great. It went by very quickly. And just kind of asking about whether we could revisit thinking about the goals and objectives in year 2 and having some input from the council into those goals and objectives. So thank you.
Councilor Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you. First of all, I'd like to thank the town manager for the kind compliments of my singing. I'm not sure many would agree, but but I do thank you. Look, I don't have a lot new to say tonight. I think I'm going to piggyback on some of the comments that already been made. With regard to roads, I mean, there have been several road projects over the last several years. The roads are improving. I get the same comments from people. When are you going to start when are we going to start repairing the roads? Or the roads really need to be repaired. Well, they are being repaired. All you have to do is look around. We did West Street last year. We did South Street last year. We did Guelph Road last year. I mean, there are a number of roads that we did last year and the year before that. Main Street a few years ago. And this year we have more road projects. People have to be, people don't have patience. I understand that. The roads were neglected for a long, long time, but they're getting fixed, and it's going to take time. Just please be patient with us. As far as getting involved in the town, Councilor Rivas just listed a number of events that are happening in town. Look, there's so much to do in this community if you just look and take advantage of it. Autumn Fest, of course, but take a look. Go just drive around the circle. There's always a big down the Rotary. There's always a big banner advertising some upcoming event. Attend these things. Get out in the community. Get to know your community and take part. Volunteer your time. We need good people here to volunteer their time on boards and committees. Get involved, folks. Get involved. That's how a community becomes yours. You get involved in it. Okay. Thanks. That's all I have to say.
Councilor Montigny?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, I just got to remind everybody how much I enjoy my Monday nights up here. So thank you to all of you gentlemen for keeping me happy here. I was happy to attend what I believe was the final concert on the Common. I wish I could have stayed a little longer. Special thanks to the Woo Sox, the Worcester Red Sox, for having Southbridge Takeover Night last Friday. I thought it was well attended. It was a lot of fun. Always an honor to be allowed and recognized in the field alongside Councilor Shenier, Dow, Ortiz, and Daniel. Councilor Ortiz, thank you for setting up the festivities. We're all having so much fun. I thought you were going to say a few words out there. I do apologize to my fellow Italian countrymen. I did not make the Italian Club picnic, but I was happy to hear it was a success and there was singing involved and all this good stuff. School starts next week. I wish everyone a good year, all the students, the parents out there, and let's pray that the commissioner and Dr. Villar will continue to work with us to get out of state receivership as soon as possible. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say hello, Angie. Thank you very much.
Mr. Vice Chair, agenda item number 24, discussion next meeting date.
Yes, sir. It's Monday, August 19th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers.
That's tonight.
Oh,
I think that's the wrong.
was that a typo?
I didn't see that. It'll be September 9th.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Manager. September 9th. Typo on the agenda. Thank you.
We are human. Agenda item number 25, vote to enter into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, 21.2, to conduct strategy session in preparation for negotiations with the non-union personnel and to conduct collective bargaining session or contract negotiations with a non-union personnel. And 3, to discuss the strategy of respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may be detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares.
Second.
The motion and a second. Roll call.
Counselor Dow?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Lazo?
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti?
Yes.
Counselor Montigny?
Yes.
Counselor Ortiz?
Yes.
Counselor Rivas?
Yes.
Counselor Chenier?
Yes.
We will come back out into open session. Thank you.